A question to all my 5G conspiracy theorists out there. Are you still terrified of 5G? Before I jump into this video, I have a quick request to those of you out there in viewerland from this side of the camera. If you clicked on this link, please smash that like button on the way in, no matter how long you stay. Today, people don't stay very long. Some don't, unless they have a good reason. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would help me out a lot, and it would help my channel out a lot as well. So with that, let me jump in, and I'm going to ask the question to the 5G conspiracy theorists. Are you still terrified of 5G? So I started this channel right around the time of the onset of the global health crisis. You all out there know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say its name. I'm not going to talk about the medication for the global health crisis because things are being policed here on YouTube. But right around the time the global health crisis started, there were also rumors and conspiracy theories that it was 5G that was causing the global health crisis, and it was the fact that strange men were being seen all across town setting up 5G towers, and there were things dying, and people were getting sick, and it was all because of the 5G. And one of my cousins, shout out to my cousin Tammy, she was the first one who turned me on to this whole thing. I didn't know people were that afraid of 5G. I knew that it was a technology that was being brought online to allow for the use of more technologies, such as the Internet of Things, quote unquote, in parentheses, the IoT. But that's all I knew about it. But it turns out that there were quite a few people around the world who were and who may be still terrified of 5G. And at that time, people were linking the global health crisis with 5G. So I created a video around the time I started this channel. Wow, that was a little over 3 years ago. Time flies. So I created a video on this. And so I'm back to playfully give an update or to re-ask the question, are you still afraid of this thing? And this is not going to be a long video. So as I did 3 years ago, we're going to take another look at the electromagnetic spectrum, and we're going to see where 5G lands in that electromagnetic spectrum. I have an updated infographic or diagram for you all to help out with this analysis. So let's talk about where 5G sits in the electromagnetic spectrum. So the electromagnetic spectrum, if I can say this in layman's terms, the electromagnetic spectrum basically describes the radio frequencies, the light energies, and the radiations that we are exposed to, or that exist. Maybe that's a better way to say it, that exist in the natural world. So of all the sciences, we've gone over into the physics world now. So looking at this updated diagram incorporating 5G, if you look at the top of this diagram, what you see at the top is it says very low frequency, and you see bars with arrows on each side. So progressing from the right side to the left side, you see very low frequency, and then you see radio frequency spectrum, and then microwaves, and then infrared, and then visible light. That's what we see with our eyes as humans. You see ultraviolet, you see X-rays, and then you see gamma cosmic rays. So underneath there, it's showing there are illustrations, some of which are of the technologies that we use. So you could see CRT monitors, mobile radio devices. If you look at your radios, your car radio, you notice that FM designates kilohertz, I believe, and AM designates megahertz, and those refer to the cycles of the waves. So next to radio, you see TV. Next to that, you see cell phones and PCs. You see microwave and satellite. Over in the visible light range, you see the sun. Over under X-rays, you see medical X-rays. They use X-rays when you go to see the doctor to look at your bones to see if everything is as it should be, or if there are breaks, or if there's arthritis in your hip. When you go to the dentist, they use X-rays as well to look at your teeth. And then when you go to the far left under gamma cosmic rays, there lies radioactive sources. Now, interestingly, underneath those depictions, you see waves. So you have wavelengths and you have frequencies. So frequency is designated by hertz, so the number of cycles per second. So interestingly, regarding wavelength and hertz, there's a bit of an inverse relationship. So if you look at the right side, you see that the wavelengths are longer. And if you look at the hertz, you see there's 3 kilohertz. So as you go to the left, you're increasing in size. So kilo, giga, tera. I'm not sure what the P and the E designate, but you're going from smaller to larger. So as the wavelengths get smaller, the hertz or the cycles per second, those increase. So larger wavelengths, smaller hertz, smaller wavelengths, larger hertz. So underneath that, there's a designation for non-ionizing. So the larger those waves are, the less ionizing they are. So the shorter those waves are, and the increased number of hertz, the more ionizing that is. So what I want to get you to see is look at where the 5G is. The 5G is in the non-ionizing range. It's actually sub-microwave, and it's actually sub-satellite. So what you would expect from a device that's using this type of process is you would expect to see concern. You would expect concern for some sort of ionization. But the 5G is in the non-ionizing range. So if it were in the ionizing range with the X-rays and with the radioactive sources, I would be concerned. But because it's in the non-ionizing range and it's sub-microwave, the most that a 5G wave can cause is a little bit of heat. So with that, as a scientist myself, my concern is very, very low. Now, I haven't seen any data. That doesn't mean that the data doesn't exist, but I haven't seen any data showing in a lab setting, and maybe it's there and I just need to dig it up, but I haven't seen any data showing that 5G causes any adverse health outcomes. If you know of any, please let me know in the comment section, but I haven't heard of anything. And based upon what I know, we're just going to get more. Things are going to get faster and faster as the technology gets steadily and steadily more complex. So with that, having shown this updated diagram and knowing where the 5G uh, lands in terms of microwave and X-rays and ionizing radiation, are you still afraid of 5G? Do you think it's wrecking the environment? Do you think that it was involved with the global health crisis? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I made this video in part in jest, but also to bring this back up. It's an interesting topic, and there are people who were really fired up and terrified over this. This is Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Well, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below in the description box. Please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I'm also a writer with 2 blogs and a book project on the way. And with that, I'm going to end this. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. And remember, everyone, I created this video partially in jest, but also, again, people were terrified about this. People were serious. People were fired up over 5G. So I haven't heard anything recently, but that doesn't mean people aren't still terrified. Anyhow, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.